That was probably one of the best things that happened to me, because the last day of school, he put his arm around me and he was like, "Hey man, I just wanted to tell you that you're gonna be something in life." From Stockton, grew up there, Southside Stockton. I feel like God had me there for a reason, to be around certain things when I was young, and there's no accident. When I was growing up, I got to see different things that really opened my eyes. Well, one of them was I always had men that were non from my family looking out for me. And I got to the recreation center. It's called McKinley Center. It's like a boys and girls club, but it was like in the hood.
Yeah,
It's for kids that didn't have two parents at home. I was looking for things, right? And I was searching things that, because I felt I was empty. So I got there and I met his name was Marcus Amiel. He was the recreation leader, and he just right away just clean to me. Seeing that and him instilling his love into me gave me some type of self-hope. It was crazy. I started seeing it really too was I was in second grade. I got all my recesses taken away from me. I got in trouble. He started talking life into me and believing in me, and not just scolding me, but he was actually, man, you learn from this, let this be the last time. Like, you don't want to be like this. You don't want to go through this your whole life, and you start now. That's why I'm being hard on you.
Yeah.
So you could see the coaches with leaders in the community. That's what something that we have to make sure we're doing, because there is a lot of dads not involved with men, even women. For me, that's been the biggest achievement for me, is to be there for the kids, because I went through it, and I know how they feel. I know what they're going through. So when I could be just a little bit of a crutch for them, a rock, that's making my touchdown.
Hey, before we jump into the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hey, you liking, subscribing, and also sharing our videos helps us to produce more content like this. So thank you for your love and support in advance. Hey, now let's jump into the conversation. Let's go. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Grind Up Podcast. I am your host, Kazi, and today we have a guest who wears many titles, right? He is a coach, a mentor, a community leader who turned his passion for fitness into a mission to help others grow. From breaking records in track and field to competing in the CrossFit regionals, this man has spent years training athletes from youth all the way from youth to the professional level. As a partner owner of CrossFit 209 Sports and owner of Elevate 209 Sports Program, he's dedicated his life to strength, discipline, and giving back to the community. Nonetheless, he is a father of his 6 children and a husband to his beautiful wife. Everybody welcome Mr. Vince Carter.
Man, I want to do a backflip.
I was like,
do a backflip.
I was like, I am not going to try to remember all of that, bro.
I'm ready to work out.
You got a long resume, my G. I was like, I'm not going to try to remember that. No, I appreciate you.
This is the voice that he probably don't even know. I'm a little stalker. I'll be on his page. I love his motivation. I think it was a time where you just did like 30 days or something, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I know that, right? So
Yeah,
you're probably like, man, Vince watches my stuff. I just started looking at different things that you were doing, and I loved where you just went on a vent, right? Just on a vent of just bettering your life, bettering people's life. And I think we need more of that in our world, and I condone you.
No,
man.
Appreciate that, right? Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, because I'll be on your page too. I'm like, my guy is everywhere, bro. I was like, so the fact, that you're able to pull time to the side for us, I appreciate you, bro, to serve our, our audience, our community, and so let's jump into it, bro.
Yes, sir.
So you said you're from Stockton, right?
Yep, from Stockton. Grew up there, Southside Stockton. Went to all the schools that you maybe heard about: Edison, Marshall, McKinley Elementary, and just was rooted there. I feel like God had me there for a reason, to be around certain things when I was young, and there's no accident. This all about faith and what God has for you. And at that time when I was young, I couldn't really see it, but as I got older and started just seeing life, I was starting to see, okay, these are all the things, so I can connect with the youth, and be able to deliver them as well, to tell them, hey, you don't need to make the mistakes, because we made them for you.
Yeah.
And we know from trial and error to teach them, like, hey, like, you don't need to get in the car. I got in that car, or I almost got in that car,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my homeboys didn't come back for a lot, and some didn't. Couldn't see another day.
Hmm.
So just blessed to be here, blessed to be a product of Southside Stockton.
So, you know, you said something like you started to see that you knew now. Okay, I see why God put me in this
Yeah.
environment. Why He, you know, put you in Stockton. You started seeing things like you're here to help the youth and whatnot. When did that happen for you? When did that epiphany shift for you? Like, oh, this is why.
Well, I've always had a covenant of God's grace, from my grandma and grandpa praying on their hands and knees, and
Mm,
when I was little, and being raised in the church, and I believe that we were always covered by God's hands, and so I went through things, but I didn't go through where I could have been,
mm,
and so when I was growing up, I got to see different things that really opened my eyes. Well, one of them was I always had men that were non from my family looking out for me.
huh,
It could have been walking to school. It was a preacher watering his grass. He was talking about gospel to me. Then I walk a little farther. There'd be some guys rolling dice, and they were telling me, "Hey, youngster, keep moving. You don't even
huh.
need to be here." And I got to the recreation center. It's called McKinley Center. It's like a boys and girls club, but it was like in the hood.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
for kids that didn't have, two parents at home. Mom was working, dad was working, somebody that's not home.
Hmm.
For me, my father was in and out. I love him to death. And so I was looking for things, right? And I was searching things that because I felt I was empty, and not just having that pat on my back by a male. I
Mm,
was only having it from my mom, and
yeah,
my
yeah.
mom's a beautiful lady. And so I got there, and I met his name was Marcus Amiel. He was the recreation leader, and he just man just right away just clean to me.
Mm,
He would take me to summer youth camps, put me in the sports, and just seeing that and him instilling his love into me gave me some type of self hope. It was crazy. And so like I seen that from that, then I would play basketball there, then I would go in the room where they'll be working out, a lot of guys coming out of prison, kids coming out of juvenile hall,
hmm.
and seeing what they had. They had hard work, they're working out, and that even influenced me in a good way, and so I started seeing it really too was I was in second grade. I got all my recesses taken away from me. I got in trouble, and
Weren't you weren't one to follow the rules, or what?
no, I was trying to do everything on TV, man. I was, and a couple of my friends. It was crazy because I just had my homeboy talk at my fundraiser, and he's a big time pillar for the community, and he brought it up, and I didn't even think he remembered it. He was like, "Man, I remember when me and Vince started the gang.
Mm.
We're in second grade, man, and we're jumping each other in
Oh
and
wow,
stuff like
second
that."
grade, thugging and
Yeah,
bugging, huh?
yeah, it was crazy, and my principal, he took our recesses away. And so I was sitting there in his office at lunch because that was the one that it hurt the most because it
Mm.
was like 30
30 minutes,
minutes.
yeah, yeah.
So I was sitting there and I was like mad the first couple of days. After a couple of days later, I started bringing him an apple. I started liking him. It was weird. He started talking life into me and believing in me and patting me on my back,
The
and
principal?
yeah, he
Mm.
started not just scolding me, but he was actually, man, you learn from this, let this be the last time. Like, you don't want to be like this. You don't want to go through this your whole life, Vince. You start now. That's why I'm being hard on you,
Yeah.
so you could see. And that was probably one of the best things that happened to me, because the last day of school, he put his arm around me and he was like, "Hey man, I just wanted to tell you that you're going to be something in life."
Mm.
Shoot,
That's
48
awesome, man.
48 years, now, and fast forward, I'm over here telling the story that this man, spent a couple, minutes after, that last day of school, and put his arm around me and patted me on the back and was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Man, you gonna be something."
Mm.
And that just drove me. That was like the first with Marcus, with McKinley Park,
Yeah.
with him, my principal. It kind of like boom. kind of jumpstart me. I had that in my system, even
There
though
you
I
go.
was going through things, because the devil's going to try to pull you
Yeah, that
and,
part.
and tell a lie to you. But God had a path,
Hmm.
and He put people in there to stir me back on the path.
No, yeah, I think what I say is I believe that a lot of things that we go through is ordained by God.
Yes.
So that we can learn the things that we need to learn so that he's getting us ready for what he already has ready for us. So I see the correlation, right? I
Yeah.
see where the men that they pretty much big brothered you,
Yeah.
right? And so now in a sense, you're a big brother for a lot of
Nah.
the
Yeah.
younger men in this
No. No.
generation.
Definitely.
So I can see how God ordained all of that, and it's awesome, because I see you as somebody that's very very influential, somebody that a lot of these young individuals that don't have fathers they can look up to, So like, what is it like? How did you go end up choosing? Because at first I thought you were just working with youth, but I see
Yeah.
that you work with all different type of age
Yeah.
groups. So like, when did you start, and like what made you want to start what you do as far as like the business aspect of what you do?
Yeah. I was in college, right? Well, for one, I used to, be around in the neighborhood. I would run around, and I love that feeling
Mm-hmm.
of running and achieving something and having that confidence. And then I had my coaches like, man, clapping me, right? And so that gave me some type of fire,
Mm-hmm.
because I was looking at them and they were looking at me, and it gives you that smile, it gives you that joy. And so I was like, man, I love that. I love that moment. And so for that, I love when I help somebody, and the guy, one of my athletes calls me. He says, "Hey, coach, I'm graduating from UCLA. Just wanted to tell you that you helped me get through this graduation from St. Mary's, from 8th grade to now."
That's awesome.
And that was just like just uplifting, and it helped me get up my mountain, because I started down here and I started climbing,
Yeah, yeah.
especially working with the youth and being a trainer, entrepreneur like yourself. And you're hustling, you're juggling things. And so that was like probably like my instilling into me what I wanted to be, is that person that brought hope and love to everyone I was around.
Mhm.
So I fast forward, I went to college. Everybody would be like, "Hey man, can you train me?" Because I'll be working out, and I just love that feeling of working out and achieving something, and I wanted to feel good, and everybody wants to look good.
Yeah, yeah.
So people would always tell me, "Hey, hey, can you train me?" Like my own, athletes, in a sense of the people I was practicing with, my teammates. And I was like, man, I would love to. And then I just started like loving it even more. And then I started growing from that. And then I started like, man, I could probably start something with this,
Mm.
and I came back home from school, from college, and I was driving trucks. I had to get a job. I got custody of my son Vince, and it was like an awakening. It was like, man, I gotta be a real man now. Like no more college. No, I'm back home. I got custody of my son, and we'll go into that too. And I was just like, man, I gotta do what I gotta do. So again, my family that I've been, that love me so much, that showed me love. Hey, we got a job for you. Don't worry, we're gonna help you, Vince. So they got me on with it was called it was the water jugs. What do they call it? They had the trucks. You would open up the beds and take the water out. Alhambra.
I was thinking I knew it started with an A. I was like,
Alhambra water.
yeah, yeah.
So I started working from Alhambra for like 2 years,
Okay.
and making ends meet. And then one day I just told my mom, I was like, Mom, I was like, man, I just don't think this is for me.
Mm.
And she was like, why don't you try to take a class at Delta? And because she's all about she wants you to be the best version of yourself, and she knew I was struggling. So I went to Delta, sat down at Delta. This girl sat in front of me, and back of her shirt, it said, I am a trainer. God told me right there what I was supposed to be.
It just illuminated.
Bro, it just blew up. I just
Uh,
seen it all like boom, 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 like just all these things happening, and I just said, man, I'm gonna go to In Shape, because I was living on Kelly Drive. I was living Section 8. And
okay.
living out Section 8, one of them duplexes. I was working, and I was, I had custody of my son, and I just went in there and I bugged this guy 3 times, 3 different times, coming back to In Shape. He was a fitness manager. He's my friend now. Like we talk about it, And the third time, he just told me, I'm gonna give you this job, man, because the doors. I shut the door on you a couple of times. You actually found a key to open it.
Huh.
and that's another thing we got to teach the kids, right? One door shuts, you got to go open, go find another door.
Or don't take no for an
Yeah,
answer. You
yes,
know,
yeah, yeah,
don't give up so easily.
yep, and so I was just knocking on his door, and he just let me in, and then after he did that, it was just go time. I started just learning. I watched 5 different trainers, so they had me basically shadow them. One was a athlete trainer. The
Hmm.
other one was like a power lifter. The other one was a science. He was into science and fitness and nutrition,
Yeah.
and then the other two had different styles. So I just grabbed all them styles and put VC on top of it,
Huh.
and man, I was ready to go. Like 1 month, and then I started growing to 100 clients, and I still have my first client, 20 years.
Oh
I just
wow.
seen her yesterday at CrossFit. Her name's Sue Guadanola, and she believed in me at an early stage and put me around some good people so I can know like really what business and what things. God has just put like so many just angels around me.
Hmm.
And gave me a hope in it as well, gave me a way to learn different to how to open different doors,
Yeah.
from getting donors to getting people to believe in you to getting businessmen to come in and sponsorships,
Hmm.
and she's definitely one of them that helped me out.
How'd you learn like the business aspect of everything? Because one thing is to train somebody, that's like the technician part, but to learn the business aspect, did you have a mentor or did you have?
Yeah, so Michael Spanos, he's the owner of the Chargers. um he's here in Stockton, I don't, and he's been my client probably around, I want to say 15, 16 years.
Hmm.
And he just taught me a lot, man. He told me how to make it, more liquidy,
Hmm.
for yourself. Liquid, have different things, Vince. You shouldn't just have one thing.
Yeah.
You should, have a store, like, I got like a little shop. I got, I'm with Battle, that's the clothing brand for the sports, and then I'm with Kane shoes, and then, I got these different things going, and not just settle for one. That's why I
Hmm.
tell a lot of these college guys, hey, don't just put your money in one thing, like put it in different things. Go buy some land. You know what I mean? Go build
Invest.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Invest your money in things. So Michael has been a big asset for me, and just a mentorship. He's got to be like the one that's really changed the game for me
Hmm.
and really believed in me, and get trainers, get help, and so, oh, I just seen your thing about getting assistance here,
Yeah. Yeah.
getting somebody, you know
Was that intimidating for you, like putting people on
Oh
payroll?
yeah, 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 yeah. Because you want them to make sure they're doing what you're doing,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and getting that good help and stuff too, and just expanding, right? It's all about expanding, but at the same time, keeping it growth,
Hmm.
keeping it, and the quality has to be.
Yeah. It's like my thing was like putting people on and hoping that they would work with the spirit of excellence. That's my thing, is teaching to
Yeah.
teach people to work with the spirit of excellence, act as if it's your own.
Yes.
And that's the thing. I feel like I see that a lot of people that own their own businesses, they fear to delegate and they fear to like empower somebody to like trust them with this department without like stepping away from that,
Yeah.
because they're like, I want it done a specific way.
No, and having the heart that you have, right?
That
And then the
part.
passion. One thing too is Michael told me, he was like, I went to this restaurant, Vince, and it was like a big learning point for me. He was like, went to this restaurant. The owner's been there for 50 years,
Mm,
and he's all, you think the owner was there, or you think the owner was gone? And I was like, he was he was gone probably. And he was like, no, Vince, he
mm,
was the one serving the food,
that's crazy.
and it was packed.
Mm,
He said my dad was here at this building all the way until he was 86 years old. And
wow.
he's the owner, billionaire or whatever. And he's like, that's the mentality you need to have. That's the hunger you
Mm,
need to have, and that's how you teach your people, the people that you want to be around you, right?
mm-hmm.
It's like, man, I'm here, so that's the mentality. So that was an opener for me. That kind of like changed the game for me too. It's like try to be around a little bit more, shake hands, make sure everything's going good, as well. I love it because it gives me that peace,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm at work and being around the kids and meeting new kids and new families, and I still have it the same way when I met my first clients. I
Yeah.
still get that feeling, It's probably just like how like your first tattoo.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, like,
So when I help other people, like my apprentice, for example, right?
yeah,
I've graduated some apprentices, and it's when you help somebody get to where you're at.
yeah,
There's fulfillment in that.
no,
I think I
definitely,
heard J. Cole say it first. He was like, I made my first 10,000. I want another 10,000. I made my first milli. I want another milli. He was like, there's no fulfillment in that. There's fulfillment when you help the next man up. And I
yeah,
see that that's where you find your joy. That's where you find your peace, because I feel like that's part of your alignment with God. Is like
oh,
God
definitely,
is again, God has ordained you to go through what you go through so that you can help other people that are going through that today.
yeah,
I feel like that's why a lot of young men are drawn to you, because unfortunately, I feel like a lot of men are missing from the home. They're absent from the home. So like for those that, what would you say to those young men that feel as if I don't need my dad?
yeah.
My mom's the one. She's playing my dad and my mom's. And then you know, what would you say to those? Do you feel like it's a vital necessity for them to have a man in the house?
Oh yeah, I for sure. Like that it's like your cup is halfway full, right?
Mm,
And the male part, you have to fill the cup up. Okay, then you're like completed, and I feel like with coaches, with leaders in the community, that's what something that we have to make sure we're doing,
hmm.
because there is a lot of dads not involved with men, even
Yeah.
even women, and for me, that's been the biggest achievement for me, is to be there for the kids,
Hmm.
because I went through it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I know how they feel. I know what they're going through. So when I could be just a little bit of a crutch for them,
Yeah.
a rock, that's making my touchdown,
Hmm.
and that's like, me running 100 yards, spiking the ball, doing my Sally,
Hmm.
because I want my my athletes to be the best version, right? But I want them to be a man that they dreamed of being, and that's one way I could walk away, is keeping my head up. It's like, man, I really helped this kid look in that mirror right there and see past whatever he was going through,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was there. It was chaos or things going on, everything's just not falling in place. And you see your mom struggling, your
Yeah.
uncles are in and out of jail, things are happening, the world is telling me, you ain't gonna make it, homie's trying to get you in the car,
Mm.
put a rag on. And it's like, man, I seen something, and that's what I pushed the kids through. And that could be mental health,
Yeah.
that could be a confidence, generation curses,
Hmm.
whatever it is. Elevate Vince Carter is here to push them through that, and that's the goal, and
Hmm.
I think that's what the world needs to be with our kids, and they won't fail, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Start them young, teach them. And I just I was just talking to a group of politicians, right? And they said, "What do you think, Vince?" I said, "Well, we gotta we gotta we gotta get the tribe, because we're a tribe, we're a village,
Hmm.
and we have our kids running everywhere, right? Well, the leaders of the tribe and the village have to pill into them kids in the middle,
Yeah.
because that's how the society is going to grow even bigger, and it's going to grow but better.
Hmm.
And we teach them the values and the cores values that you want to teach them at an early age, because you ain't going to change
Yeah.
once you get a little older. It's going to be harder, right?
Hmm.
And so I just feel like we need to have more outlets for them, more ways to plug them in, right, to all
Hmm.
these different things. There's the Boys and Girls Club, there's McKinley Park, there's Elevate, there's after school special. You got things going on. You got an after school thing over here. Let's say you had an after school program, where they could come in and
Hmm.
they could learn how to do tattoos. Geo could have a graphic, teaching them how to edit.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
teaching them how to do nails, and all these different outlets that the community is paying for, instilling into leaders like you guys selves.
Hmm.
That's how you're going to win, because you're going to teach them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't have them resources, right?
Mm.
So for me, it's like having this resource. People always ask me, what do you want to do with this elevator? Well, I want it everywhere. If I could just empower somebody from this conversation here, that, man, I'm gonna start a program where I live.
Yeah.
It doesn't even gotta be called Elevate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's how the blessings that you're spreading out to people, of that hope. So yeah.
So are you training other people to expand? Are you
Yeah, yeah,
franchising or?
yeah. Well, we have one in Ripon at
Mhm.
Legacy.
I seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
have a our second home over there, and you know what? I'm just, you know, whatever God has for me. You know, I'm just working like there ain't no tomorrow, like yourself,
Huh.
and but I know there's somebody leading the ship,
Mhm.
and I know that God has, you know, things for us. You know, like I want to be here today. This whole year has been a blessing,
Mhm.
and just seeing different miracles, different things happening in the program, and I just can't wait to keep seeing. Like people are like, "Man, you know you're almost getting turning 50 now, right, Vince?" And
Mhm.
I'm like, "Man, am I?" So it's like I don't feel it. I don't, you know, I feel like I'm getting like a second wind because there's so much more. We just had a camp. It was 140 kids,
Wow.
and I was just like, man, like this is what God is telling me. Like we got to keep moving, keep going. Like there's so much more that we could really do for our community. You know, we just have two of our girl teams. The Lady Elevate, they're playing in Tennessee, nationally ranked, you know, teams
Mhm.
in this like the World Series, the World Championship of flag football. You know, and so it's like, man, that's a whole nother thing going on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you know, we just signed our first three NFL players. Jonah Coleman is going to the Broncos. Jacob Jesus, Z, they're going to Kansas City Chiefs, and they were just at the gym yesterday and just talked to Jonah's dad. You know, when I walked in here, and it's been amazing,
That's
man.
huge, bro.
It's
That's
been
huge.
amazing.
Yeah, so like, kids that are, I want to tap on that because something you said was like teaching them. We talked prior also like teaching people not only to focus on the physique but the internal stuff,
Yeah,
right? So like, what's three things that you would have somebody focus on if they're going through the stuff of like maybe the, what I say is unfortunately we can't choose the families that we're raised in,
yeah.
that we're born in, and sometimes people become victims and of their circumstances or a product of their environments. So if you were to give them some type of three things to focus on to mentally prepare them to get out of the funk that they're in mentally. What's the three things, the main things that you'll have them focus on?
The biggest thing for me was it's okay to jump over the fence, right? It's okay to jump over the fence, grab the knowledge from all these different people. Doesn't matter who they are, what brown, yellow, green,
Mm-hmm.
if they live in a big house, a small house, if they have two parents, if they don't, grab the blessings that they have, bring it back to your grass, put it in your grass and water
So
that thing.
nourishing it.
And water that thing,
Mm,
you know? And that's something that I never changed. And that's what I believe in, man. It's like you could change your environment, right? But you don't have to change who you are, right? What God has brought you up in,
mm-hmm.
you know, and just make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't mean you're sound out or you're not who you are, or what your last name is, or where you were raised at. It's actually you're showing that beauty of the grass growing
Mm-hmm.
because it's growing with all these different other flowers,
Yeah.
and that's growth, right? And so that's something I could say to the kids. It might be a little deep for them,
Yeah,
but
I'm like, because
yeah, but telling them and teaching them to understand that
yeah.
it's like, bro, it's okay to put a suit and a tie. It's okay to shake the lady's hand. It's okay to open the door for her.
Mm,
You know what I mean? All them trades of greatness of being beautiful inside,
yeah.
because that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to love everybody, to show that peace, you know, and man, and be the best person that you can.
How can somebody that doesn't have a good role model, right? You said jump over the fence. How can they decipher what to pick and pull from if they don't have no type of, I guess, foundation of what's good and what's evil? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Because like when I was a kid coming up, being raised on the east side of San Jose, I looked up to cats that were like, the ones that were looked upon because they're doing some hood stuff, and I
yeah. They
wanted
have
I
the gold
wanted
ones, the
yeah, I
gold.
wanted to live up to those
Yeah,
standards because I thought that that was cool and that was
yeah,
good because of the influence that they had.
yeah,
So like, how can you, how can somebody that doesn't have a good role model? I guess I kind of answered my own questions.
yeah.
Find a good
No,
role
no,
model.
no, it is for real. Well, you know, them role models that we looked up to when we were probably younger, because that's all we seen. We know, got the gold chains,
Mm-hmm.
the whips, the fat pockets, the phones and all that,
Fast
right?
cash. Yep.
The fast cash, right? A lot of them got great. Probably, a lot of them were great people because a lot of guys that instilled a lot of things into me were
Mhm.
them guys. Like that hasn't changed. Like I see them, I tell them. Like I just seen it. One of my older homeboys that he owns a lowrider club, right? And it's a nonprofit. And I just had him come over to our camp, and he had his cars. The kids were taking pictures in front of
Mhm.
the cars and stuff. He's changed his life. And I had a moment with him. I was like, man, I just want to tell you, since I was little, because my father wasn't around, you guys were the ones that helped me become who I am. I want to be doing this because he was tripping. He was just looking at all the kids and all the. It's like, man, Vince, look at all this you're doing.
Mhm.
I was like, man, it was people like you. You guys instilled something into me. So take a nugget for them for sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
but take the nugget that's gonna shine bright. Don't take the nugget that's gonna be shining for a little bit and then go dark when they go to prison. You don't want to take that type of stuff. You don't want to have that.
Mhm.
Take the good things, that their work ethic, take the respect,
Yeah.
take the little things like that, and that's something I feel like I did
Yeah.
because I never changed. I never will, but I just don't. I know I'm not living like that.
Mhm. Yeah, he's saying take the good from these people. Like,
Yeah,
what I say is like I feel like a lot of people they have that, whether it be a gangbanger, right, whether somebody that's doing some stuff that's illegal and like prostitution, right. I was
yeah,
like they got the entrepreneurship spirit.
yeah.
They're just
Doing it the
doing
wrong
it the
way.
wrong way. So yeah, take
Yeah,
the good and like
yeah,
understand that. Follow the law, right,
yeah. For
straight up.
sure, for
But
sure.
there's good ways to go about making money,
Yeah.
and what I teach too is like not all money is good money. Although
No.
it might
Yeah.
be something that's cool, might that's why I think it's important to teach like the whole because I feel like we're in a generation where they want that quick instant
Yeah.
gratification.
Yeah.
Like, no, the delayed gratification, that's what's going to give you the most dividends at the end of the day if you understand that. Right. So like are there other things that you teach those that you mentor? Because I know you obviously you're teaching the physique part of
Yeah.
like training and stuff. Do you guys have like workshops where you just know
Well,
working out? We're breaking this down, the mindset
well,
part.
yeah. Well, for me is the counseling, right? The
Hmm.
counseling, the being able to speak life. That's like number one. Speak life into them. That's what we're doing right now. We're speaking
Hmm.
life into this audience. Um, my number one thing too is I had to learn. We all have paths in life, man. We're gonna all have different paths. I've been around thousands of kids and they all have different stories,
Hmm.
but they have a finish line.
Yeah.
So teaching my son is like, hey, this is your path, son. There's gonna be all these different noises over here. There's gonna be all these different noises over here. But God has this line for you. And I always use, my lane for him. I'm like, I walk this line and at times it's gonna pull me this way, it's gonna pull me
Hmm.
that way. There's gonna be a big mountain in life because that's life.
Hmm.
But the person that continues to walk up the mountain is gonna conquer that mountain. And guess what? He's gonna look down the road and he's gonna see a bigger
That
mountain
part. Hmm.
and go climb that mountain. That's one thing that I instill into my sons as well, my kids that I'm around,
Hmm.
because we got to teach them that because they get blind or they get caught up with the outside stuff, social media, TV, and it's like you got a path,
Yeah.
but now we got to hustle for it. We got to get up early, late nights, get in the book, get in different things, get around different avenues, come to the gym 2 times a day,
Yeah.
just hang out. I got kids that come up, hey coach, can I get dropped off? I just want to come hang out with you. Man,
That's what's up,
love
bro.
that.
That's cool.
Love that. Come watch, come be around. We talk about life, and that's the biggest, achievement too as well,
Hmm.
being able to teach them about life in the lanes. Cause everybody has a lane,
Yeah. Yeah.
but his lane might be different. He might have somehow he got there faster. Doesn't mean you failed. Like a lot of people get into that, right?
Hmm.
Oh, man, he's got a house or he did this already or all that is coming. You just got to continue
Yeah.
to do you.
Stay in your lane, grow
Yeah.
within your lane, bro.
Yeah. And I think that's the number one thing is teaching the people just to follow what your path is, right?
Mhm.
And don't get caught up with, like kids like offers, right? They want to get all these offers. Oh, so and so got 20 offers on it. I don't got none. Well, what am I doing wrong? I was like, you ain't doing nothing. Just
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
working. It's coming. It's coming, you
I
know.
think it gets dangerous when you start talking like that. Like I should be over
Yeah.
there by now.
Yeah.
Why? You know, it's like you start comparing your journey to
Yes.
somebody else, or your
Yes.
successes with other people's successes, or your failures with other people's failures. You know, I feel like that's a dangerous place to be. I think it sounds super cliche, but I heard the quote somebody say, "Comparison is the thief of joy," or
Oh
something
no.
like that.
No. That part, someone told, that's crazy. You've said like two things that like God has told me before, and someone I've heard that, and it's like it is because you dwell on that
Hmm.
instead of dwelling on your purpose.
Yeah.
You start dwelling on the next man's purpose. It's like, oh man, you're wasting time.
Hmm.
Or like this, right? You hold on to things. That's a whole nother subject, right? If you're holding, somebody told me too, it's like you gotta let go of things
Hmm.
because they cling to you. They're like shackles. They're a weight, and you're going deeper and deeper in the ocean. It's like once you start cutting these chains down, you start coming back up to the shore.
Mm.
Then you're
What
living.
kind of things you talking about?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about just anything in life with dealing with things like that. Something like from your family. Like a lot of men, like like a lot of my years, I was like, man, where's my dad?
Mm.
Why is my mom going through this? And so
Also,
I,
like
I
bitterness
yes,
type, you know,
bitterness, yeah,
forgiveness.
forgiveness, and I was just talking to this coach, and he was like, "Man, yeah, we got to teach these kids how to live, to have that peace,
Mm.
and that's one of them, and as for me as a man, is just letting things go so you see more clear.
Yeah.
You're just not holding on to some of your mistakes or some of what your wants or some of the, getting caught up with the world
Hmm.
and seeing what God has, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's a thing that we got to make sure our kids are doing too,
Yeah.
you
So you're
know?
saying that you holding on to stuff like that will affect your performance, will affect your business.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you're thinking about plotting on this when you should be plotting on the next thing
Hmm.
that you have, and that's building your brand,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
content, calling up Geo, calling you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so it's like once I started getting my clearness, I just started rolling,
Mm.
and that's why I feel like the fire is coming. There's more than just what we're doing right now, even for yourself, and I'm just excited for it.
No, excited for.
The growth as a older,
Yeah.
getting older and seeing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and looking back at the person that I used to be, but
Hmm.
looking now to the future,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you know, you said you teach your kids like, you know, there's always a higher mountain, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I get excited about because I believe as believers, right, as people of faith, God, I believe that we should always be progressively getting better,
Yes.
right? There's always more. It says that He'll do exceedingly abundantly whatever we ask, think, or could even imagine, right? So it's like what we think what is big, that's only like scratching the surface
Yeah.
for God, bro.
Like throwing out the trash, like your wife telling you to throw out the trash.
Uh,
I always say that. But my wife, she'd be like, come on, baby. Come on, don't forget the
uh,
trash today. And I'm like, you wanna know what? I need to get better at things like
mhm,
that. I need to get better about putting the toothbrush right
uh,
here. She's like, so it's like, little things like that, and as well, just like how you said, I didn't mean to cut you off,
no, you're good.
but yeah, just like things like that, and coming to time on getting here early, are doing, the little things that make great things. We want our athletes to do the little things,
Yeah, yeah.
be in line when it's time to warm
Hmm.
up. Like you should be there first. Well,
It's the compound
yeah,
effect.
and that's business,
Hmm.
doing the little things,
Yeah, yeah.
and I just feel like that's key too, for sure.
So I mean, I want to shift a little bit since we're on the
Yeah,
top of the business. Like, what's because you've been in the business for how long now? It's like
20 years,
20
like in
years.
a sense of like just starting it, 15 years, like for sure.
Okay, so like if I were to ask you, what is the three biggest lessons you've learned? Because you said like when you're in your lane, there's going to be distractions. There's going to be things trying to pull you left and right. So what are the biggest things you've learned? At least three within your business,
Have different avenues for one,
different
have
avenues.
different things going on. Re make it in a sense of like have it look different, but have it the same,
Hmm.
because I'm always trying to have different things of what we're doing, showing like, man, like we're in the time,
Hmm.
we're up to date,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And that's what someone said, like, man, Coach Vince, like you started this way,
Hmm.
but it's been rolling this way, and it's like crazy how much it's just always coming with different things of mic'd up, an ad, getting somebody to talk, talk about our business, a testimony, showing a parent's thoughts on the business,
Mm-hmm.
showing what we're doing with the kids, and different things of just showing the big picture of your business, but having all these different things in there, but keeping it the same. And I know it's kind of hard for me to explain, but it's like,
It was a long answer, but I mean,
yeah,
I get what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah,
So grow, like,
yeah,
don't just do one, focus on one
yeah,
thing. So the way I'm picturing it, like, for example, from like tattooing, you're saying, like, because right now I'm stepping into the coaching space,
yeah,
right? So don't only just tattoo, but do other things they could do. But ultimately, it's all revolving
yeah.
around tattooing.
No,
So doing
definitely.
that, or whether it be selling merch, or like just things that point to this one main thing.
Yeah, and don't be scared of criticism. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
tell people all the time. Criticism's your friend,
Mm-hmm.
because it might be that much, but that much is gonna get you better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like if I tell you, hey man, you're not doing this, like don't like a fool will get upset over it, right?
Mm-hmm.
A person that wants to grow will take a little bit in
Yeah,
and be
yeah,
like, man, there's got to be some type of truth in there.
that part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was telling, like, man, there's so many times a parent, an athlete, a trainer, it doesn't even matter what they tell me. And a hater got some type of truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
if it's
Like,
making you feel
yeah,
some type of way
yeah,
too, like, why
yeah,
why am
yeah.
I responding like that? Why am I feeling some type of way
I,
about that?
I, I had, I always get these trainers that call me and they're like, man, coach, I'm going through this right now. I'm doing this, right? The trainers, right? From all over, from Texas, like big name guys
Mhm,
too. And they would just call me. I don't know. They just look at me that way. Unc, whatever they want to
mhm,
call me. Uncle Vince, man, I need to talk to you. I'm like, what's up? And they're like, they're going through something. And I'm like, bro, use that as fire to use fuel to the fire.
mhm.
Every mistake, every hate, every challenge in life, go harder, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Go harder now, and every time I fell to my knees, I got back up 10 times stronger. And that's how you win though, and that's been my mentality. That's been the CrossFit 209 to the Elevate, because I got into CrossFit first,
Mhm,
and that community is what really like sparked it too, and a lot of people don't know that CrossFit is a real good community. It has all the colors for one, has all the
mhm,
people, different backgrounds, and they all have one thing, and that's to be better.
mhm.
That means fitness, pull ups, dips, muscle ups, power cleans, all the different things, and that's been good to me. That's really helped me. But yeah,
So I mean, CrossFit is like, because I think I've seen these on one of your videos. You was talking about CrossFit is like you can do stuff right now that you were doing when you were 18. So
yeah.
they focus on, like, what's the word? Is it
I gotta warm
agility?
up though. I'm a Cadillac. I'm an old school Chevy. I always
Oh,
tell the kids that. They're like, Coach, man, you warm up for like in a half hour. I was like, man, gotta start your car before you jump in it.
so is the
Yeah.
word agility is
No,
what you guys
so
focus on, or
so CrossFit is functional movements.
okay?
So it could be
So it's not like bodybuilding type. You
no,
don't focus on like getting big.
yeah, it's more like if I grab some, like we just moved these chairs, right?
Mhm,
So that's functional. That's stuff that you do in everyday life. So how can we do that to get longevity, forever, to be, we got 80-year old, I got this lady that's in there. Her name's Josie. She's 86 years old. She comes 5 days a week.
hmm.
She could do
You
everything.
said 80?
80 years old.
Oh wow.
And it's crazy to see her, but that's what CrossFit is, because you can scale it to any version from 8 years old to 80 years old.
Hmm.
So there's powerlifting, there's gymnastics, walking on your hands, handstand push-ups, there's muscle ups, there's box jumps, there's running. So it's what's going to help you in life
Yeah, yeah.
as well if you want to fit in your clothes on
Hmm.
Sundays.
Yeah. Because I see these bodybuilders can't even like
Yeah,
scratch their
no,
back.
they can't scratch their back. They run down the street. They catch it. Number one thing is to be able to play with my kids too, right? So I want to be able to play basketball with them and throw the ball around.
Hmm.
So
Okay, so what's your definition of discipline?
mm,
Because I feel like everybody has their
the
own
number
definition.
doing it when you don't want to do it,
Mm,
doing it when you really, really, really don't want to do it. That's from, going to work, going to the gym, throwing out the trash, doing these things that you might question yourself, like, man, I don't, I'm gonna take a day off, right? That day off is probably the blessing that you're been waiting for, because
Mm,
I can confess to that. Like, I was like, man, I'm so glad I came today.
mm.
I got to see all these kids, and Tommy passed a test. Coach, I passed my test. The other person, man, coach, I made, I'm starting. Like all these things that happen on the toughest days,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, man, it's like, it's okay, it's life, And then now you're seeing the birth of life, and that's the kids achieving things as well, making you better.
Hmm.
Like, man, you got to get up when it's tough. And I feel like that's the best discipline for me, is doing that, and being a better dad, like telling myself, like, sit down, talk to your boys,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. Don't be on the phone when you walk in. That's discipline
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. That's
You know,
tough.
you know that talk. It's like, put my phone down like this
Yeah.
and just turn it off.
Yeah. My daughter will
Yeah.
stop talking if I'm
Yep.
on my phone. She's
Yeah.
like, you're not even listening to me. I was like,
Yep.
oh, my bad. No, hold on. All
Yeah.
right. Go ahead.
And
Yeah.
and
It's tough.
listening to my wife when she tells me stuff like that, because she has the best interest for me.
Hmm.
That's my rock, that's my everything. And knowing that, even though you might not see it right there, I guarantee you a couple hours later you're gonna be like, man, you're right.
Hmm.
That's discipline, confessing to it
Yeah.
and seeing it.
Putting the pride to the side and
Yeah, but
humbling
I've
yourself.
seen some great things happen on the tough days. And another thing too is discipline is leaving it at the door, right?
Hmm.
Whatever thing's going on, whatever thing's holding you back, when you get through that door, that's like getting on the field.
Hmm.
I tell my athletes, when you get on the field, you're another
Hey, it's
person,
game time.
bro. You turn
Hey, beast mode, bro.
yeah, it's like beast mode now. So what's beast mode for me? When I get home, I gotta turn into dad.
Yeah.
So that's discipline.
Hmm.
Getting in my car, going to the trainer, discipline. When I go to church, discipline. Soaking it in, there's all these
Hmm.
different discipline, right? And I just feel like stepping up,
Yeah. Yeah,
even
because
when it's hard.
I feel like when you're looking for excuses, they're easy to find,
No,
bro.
there is.
Like not. That's why I think it's important as a leader to not be led by your emotions.
Yeah,
If you say you're going to commit to something, you're going to do something. Hey, don't matter how you feel about it, bro. Run the play.
no,
Show up.
definitely.
And then what you said, I say that to everybody that works in the shop with me. I said, as soon as you walk through that door, everything you leave that outside, bro. Sunshines and rainbows up in here, bro. We
Yeah,
gonna create something dope. Everything
for
we do,
real.
work with the spirit of excellence, bro.
Yeah, and I don't even know like how I got that. It's probably my mom. Like, she never showed, like, I remember we moved to a house on the south side, and I remember going into the first door, and I opened the door,
Hmm.
the room, right? Open the door, and it was one bedroom. There's six of us. I have three sisters, two brothers, and I turn around, I start looking in the house. I said, "Mom, where's the other room at?" She's
Mm.
all, "This is it. This is it for a while, Vince."
Mm.
And but it didn't break her, just learning how to leave everything and just be mom, to be, that rock that we needed at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one thing, like, my mom will never show. She never showed, like, when we're struggling. I like my friends come over, they're like, man, we love it at your house. She had tortillas and butter,
Oh.
anything, she made everything better than what it is. She still does.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's where my discipline comes from, for sure.
I heard this quote. I'm thinking of this quote. It said, tough times create strong men. I don't know if you ever heard it before. It
Yeah.
says tough times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. So it's a bit of a cycle, right?
Yeah.
So like in a sense, I could correlate that over into when I teach, and I correlate that over into when I parent. Is like I don't want to spoil my kids and give them everything, right?
Yeah.
I still want to teach them those lessons that made me the man that I am today,
No,
right?
definitely.
So like what are like the three main things that you teach your boys that you feel like it gives them that mental toughness?
Well, just off of what you say, man, you talk with, like, a lot of wisdom. I love that, bro. Like, like, oh, that is so hard, right? And I'm like, son, most things that are hard are
Mm.
good for you. The things that are easy for you are normally not that great for you,
Oh.
son. And I tell them, think about that. Think about that. All the things that are hard in life are normally the best things for you. The things that are just easy for you are not the best things for you,
Um,
son. And that's why that's one thing I instill, because you hear that hard or the tough times, right? Well, that tough time is going to get you where you want to be,
come on.
regardless if it's a thing that your family went through or your family's going through right now that you're seeing,
Yeah, yeah,
violence or whatever. There's gonna be an uplifting part of this, and I'm sorry you have to go through that,
yeah.
but there's gonna be an uplifting thing, and one day you're gonna be sitting right here,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna be telling a story like this.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's one thing I tell my boys, man, that
yeah.
hard, And so like yesterday, my son he was like, "Dad, my foot." I said, "Boy, you gotta put some ice on that. Get ready to go tomorrow. We got practice
Um,
today."
yeah. My son was in boxing yesterday, and he
Oh, his
got
nose. I
yeah,
see
yeah,
that.
and yeah. I was like, hey, bro, hey, take
Coach
it.
Andy. That's
Yeah,
my dog.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
homie.
yeah,
So it's called we record everything, and I wanted to watch it and see
yeah,
look what you did. You kept your head on the line, bro.
yeah,
So some people might take it like, damn, I ain't never getting back in the ring, bro.
yeah,
Like I suck. I'm
yeah,
like, nah, dude. Like you learn from your mistakes. You
yep,
learn from your failures, bro.
yeah,
I mean, we don't shy away from them. We don't try to avoid them. Like, no, we go head on, bro.
yep,
And
yep.
that reminds you of that scripture. I believe it's in James 1 verses 2. It says, "Consider it pure joy when faced with trials of various kinds, because it builds perseverance. Right?
Yes.
Perseverance, let it finish its work, so that at the end of it, you're not lacking anything." So I think a lot of people, they tend to avoid the struggle, they avoid that hardship. But what you said is, I believe that's an abundance way of thinking. It's like, bro, we go take it head on, and we learn from the hardship. We let it develop us. And correlating over to what you do with working out, it's just the same thing. Like, it's gonna hurt in the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck. But if you can be consistent, discipline yourself, eventually you'll see the fruits of your labor, and you start seeing you're able to move, and you're able to
Yep.
do all
Yep.
these different things.
Catching balls. You're
Yeah,
throwing balls
keeping up
perfectly.
with the little ones. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing I tell them too is life is a huge tree,
Mhm.
and you have an axe, right? You hit the tree, it's not gonna fall down in one blow. The person that continues to cut at the tree
Mhm.
is gonna knock the tree over. I said, that's life, man. You're not gonna get it right away.
Yeah.
The mistakes, the failures, dang, I should have did this or I should have did that. Well, look at it, even my, adult CrossFit. Like, hey, we're chopping tree right now. We just gotta keep you're gonna learn how to snatch. You're gonna learn
Yeah.
how to overhead squat. You're gonna learn how to do a program. You're gonna learn how to do shades in your tattoos.
Mhm.
But it's the person that keeps chopping that tree down
Mhm.
is gonna learn,
The one that
right?
don't give up.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So that's something I instill too. I like.
Yeah, you start talking about trees, right? And my mind is going, bro. So like, I'm thinking about somebody that works hard at something that isn't working. It's a matter of sharpening it. But if you sharpen the axe,
No,
it'll
definitely.
expedite the process. And because somebody that's working hard at something that doesn't work, like for example, if I were to go golf, I don't know how to golf, bro, right? But I don't. If I were to work hard
Are
at
you
hitting this
serious? You don't know how
ball,
to golf?
I don't know how to golf. So,
I'm missing
so
me
if
either.
I was going and I was hitting the ball, I could be working hard all day, but unless I had a mentor to
Yeah.
really critique what I'm doing and give me the right
Tools.
right tools, the right things to implement, then working hard will work for my favor, because I'm doing something obviously off. I don't know what I don't know. So if I sharpen the act, sharpen the skill set, the mindset, then you'll expedite that process of chopping that tree down. So it's being
I
super
love that.
strategic, bro.
No, I
Straight up.
like that because I call it the toolbox.
Mm,
I so it's like life your life is a toolbox. So you got to be able to pull these different tools out. One is might be writing, the other
mm,
one might be reading, the other one might be saving money, the other one might be teaching a power clean,
mm.
the other one might be a back pedal, the other one all these different tools in life, but you're only limited to see what tools you have.
Yeah.
So you got to build that toolbox. Vince Carter has to be able to relate to the president down to the leader of whatever.
Hmm.
I got to be able to do all them things. So my toolbox has to be loaded.
Yeah.
And that's something I always tell people when they get in trouble. Coach, I can't. What are you talking about? Well, you got to build it. You got to have that toolbox, bro. You got to be able to pull that out. You got to throw
Hmm.
that comeback. You got to be able to throw that comeback.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm asking you to throw the comeback. You got to throw that. And that's another thing that I feel like kids got to be able. They can't just do one thing. You got to
Yeah.
do it all. And I think our generations have mastered that. That's what we survived because we were able to react to different things. But that was
Adapt.
because the area I was in, the different schools I had to go to,
Hmm.
the moving in different houses and different characters got me to be able to sit here to talk to you.
Yeah.
that got me to be able to sit down with the counselor, got me to sit down with the teacher,
Hmm.
and that was my toolbox.
Yeah,
God was preparing me
that part.
for moments like that, to pull out different
Yeah, yeah.
ammo, you know.
You got that in common with you, bro. Like going to different schools and
Yeah,
moving to different houses and never having like.
yeah,
So it was always weird to me when I heard somebody was friends since kindergarten. We're
yeah,
seniors now. I've never had that. So, but like yourself, I feel like God ordained that so that we're able to talk to all different types of people.
yeah.
You know,
Walks in life,
walks of life, straight up.
there was stability, but it was more stability to prepare you to
Hmm.
be more rounded.
Well rounded. Yep.
Yes, and I think that that's what got me.
Hmm. On business, I feel like we talked a lot about
Yeah.
mindset. And for those of you that are thinking, like, what does this have to do with me? I believe that mindset and everything we're talking about, you can correlate that over into your business.
Oh yeah.
Because everything you're saying, bro, I think of like tattoos, I think of what
Yeah.
I do,
Yeah.
and it makes sense and it correlates over. But like, if I were to ask you, if you were to lose everything today, bro,
Whoa.
like all the reps, all the, your reputation,
Yeah.
everything in your background, you go back to square zero, nobody knows you, right? So if you had 30 days to get back to where you're at today, the influence, as far as like the capital that you have, everything, what are the three main things that you would focus on to get you here in 30 days?
Slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down. I like right when I started, because I didn't know what money was.
Mm,
That's another thing too, is to put your kids into where they know how to develop their liquid, to develop their, because I wasn't taught that. I don't know if you were, but I wasn't taught that
no.
at an early. I had to
Hmm.
learn by trial and error. So number one, financial.
Hmm.
Learn how to deal with your financial, slow down and see the bigger picture. You know, number two, I would probably, well, that is number one. Number two, number three would probably be when I was younger, I was moving so fast, so I wasn't so thankful that much. I would say,
Hmm.
and I would just appreciate it a little bit more, and don't be so. I was hard on myself.
Hmm.
Hard on myself because I thought I was supposed to be perfect, right? Okay, I'm making money. I'm this trainer, supposed to be perfect, supposed to be
Yeah.
this best dad, I'm supposed to be this, that, and then I was kind of too hard on myself, so I couldn't enjoy it right away. And number one thing, slow down. Because slow down is you're gonna see the picture. You're gonna
Hmm.
see where to put your money. You're gonna see where to put your house that you're gonna buy, and how to how to make sure you're loving on people at the same time, because you have all these new things in your life.
Hmm.
So sometimes you're unbalanced. You're not doing these things that you they're lacking,
Yeah.
right? So more balanced. Because me, I was just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
First 5 years, I was just go. And so now it's more like, okay, we're gonna do it like a puzzle. We're gonna go one by one, so we could see the actual puzzle being completed.
Hmm.
Instead of just trying to jump too fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be for myself.
Yeah, when you say that, I think of like take a step back. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I know a lot of times we like keep your head down and keep on grinding, but I feel
Yep.
like what you're saying and the way I'm interpreting it is take a step back, decompress, and really see like what is the things that's going to be necessary for you to expedite this process. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like when you're in it, it's hard to see everything. When
No.
you take that step back, you're like, oh, okay, I can see where
No. A
the
businessman comes off the water to see land.
hmm,
You know what I mean? It's like I remember someone told me that, dude. It's like, Vince, you're swimming right now, but you haven't took a breath for like 10 years. And I was like, man, you're right. Like, okay, I got to start seeing, okay, these
hmm,
other things that I got to be doing. All right, well, I see some land. All right, we're going to put something on that land. We're going to invite these people to land,
yeah, yeah,
And that's the growth, right? Is just seeing it and because you're the head, you got to make sure you could come up and see actually where you're going.
hmm.
And we're going to the top.
So keeping that vision in the front of
Yes.
your mind,
Yes.
that's your North
Yeah.
Star.
Know where you're going.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. You have any like last advice
Uh,
for the people?
man, just make sure you're seeing the person behind the mirror, right? Like look in that mirror, but see the person that God has for you.
Hmm.
And because I was a young boy, and I had a lot of trials and errors and things going on in my life, but I seen there was something else. And you got to really believe in put yourself around people that are like-minded, that want to be more than what they see every day,
Mhm.
and know that God has a purpose for you, and know that your purpose might be different from your friend, your cousin, and just know that there's a lane and that you're walking it and you're not walking it alone.
Come on.
Even through the toughest times, and God's there for you, and he's going to pick you up and he's going to keep you moving. He's going to dust you off and throw you back in the game, because that's been the biggest, difference for me, is knowing that God's been rooting for me.
Mm.
Even through when I was going bad, he was like, you're gonna get out of this, Vince. You're gonna get out of it. I was pacing in the room,
Huh.
not knowing, what to do with my life. There was somebody there telling me, you're gonna be great, and that's my mom, my family, God, my wife, my kids, and just blessed to be here and blessed to be doing this with you, man. And
Well, I
I
appreciate
really
you, bro.
look up to your page and what you're doing, and like I told you, I stalked you, but I like that whole series you did, and I would love to collaborate with you on some stuff like that
Hey,
for sure.
awesome, bro. Hey,
Uh,
how can people connect with you, bro?
Elevate 209, VC 209 on Instagram. Make sure you follow us. We're going to be doing some good things in our community. It's not just Stockton, from the whole valley, the whole NorCal.
Hey, it's good. Let's
Let's
go.
go.